what's up, guys? Welcome back to Between the Pylons. I'm John Camacho. Thank you so much for watching. And guys, today we are talking about the Philadelphia Eagles draft breakdown here for you. We're going to be talking about every pick in the first 3 rounds. I'm going to give you my grades and all of that at the end. Before we do, if you don't mind hitting that like button if you do end up enjoying this video, and subscribing to the channel if you think you enjoy more content like this. Let's get right into it. Let's do an overview of their entire draft first. You look at this team, got a lot of picks in the 6th round. With defensive line heavy, it seems like, throughout the draft, grabbing some players. Their marquee player in the 3rd round, as far as like a guy you might expect to start or get some playing time early, it is a Milton Williams out of Louisiana Tech. I'm going to talk about him at length a little bit later, so we'll get to that. I think did a great job, obviously, attacking a center position. And Alvin Dickinson, does he play center? Does he play guard? Who cares? Listen, he is still rehabbing that injury, but it's an ACL injury, and in today's medical world, ACL injury seems to just be a 9-month injury, and he's good. So he should be good. If not for the start of the season, I would think very early on. You have a Brandon Brooks coming back, so obviously, you think that there's going to be a little bit more support on that offensive line. Offensive line obviously wasn't good last year. They can use all the help they can get, but I think that Landon Dickinson's a great player. He was the best offensive lineman on that Alabama team this past year, in my opinion. Anyway, he was the center. He I don't think got as much love. He was the guy. Just total side note, and we're going to talk about him at length as well. But total side note, they did end up letting him snap the very last play of the college football season, injured and everything. You just got to love the amount of love that the coaching staff and the team has for him to let him go do that after tearing his ACL versus Florida in the SEC championship. So a little bit of love there. Just got to love the character that comes along with things like that. And then obviously trading up to grab in Devontae Smith. That was the marquee move of this draft. We're going to talk about it. Actually, let's get right into it. Let's get into it right now. I'm going to put the draft breakdown here up for you for a second, but just, it was just a clever move. Get ahead of the Giants, trade with your division rival to fuck over your other division rival. Sorry, I'm trying not to cuss as much. But it was an awesome move, I think, to go get your guy. They get, in my opinion, the 2nd best wide receiver in the class. And let's get into it. You look at his pros and cons here. There's one con. I mean, everything else is special. Elite route running, great hands, incredibly explosive. I put the Heisman winner because, of course, he's the Heisman winner. He has everything you gotta love. The only issue is you wonder about the frame. I do, and I'll go so far as to say, and this is something that I heard a lot of other people talking about, so maybe this is just me, but I did see him get bullied a little bit on the boundary sometimes. I did, and I did a draft breakdown early on showing it. So I mean, I can show you some tape, at least a little bit, where he does get bullied on the boundary, and those are going to be issues. You wonder about play strength. That's the only question. And if that isn't an issue, which obviously the Eagles don't think it's an issue, the NFL by and large clearly didn't think it was an issue, because the Giants are going to take him if the Eagles didn't. He was a top 15 pick unanimously in the NFL. So yeah, certainly I don't think as big of an issue as some people are trying to make it out to be. I know there's some analytics people are going to say the API chart and all these other things. You don't see a lot of guys succeed, blah, 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 blah. Man, you don't see a lot of guys with the physical ability that a Devontae Smith brings to the table. So great pick by the Eagles. Really just, I think, makes up for the Jalen Reagor pick in last year's draft, which I'm not saying Jalen Reagor's bad. Jalen Reagor had some injuries early on that always, stunts the production from a rookie, especially. That's always a tough thing to come back from when you're still trying to learn the NFL and the speed and all those other things. But Jalen Reagor, I think we can all agree, was the wrong pick when Justin Jefferson went a pick later. So that's why I say corrected that mistake. But let's move on to their 2nd pick. In the 2nd round, they go ahead and get Alvin Dickinson, who I already mentioned earlier. But this is a guy who, just built like a barn. Dude is built like a brick shit house. He's a leader. He has really good quick hands to get up in front of people. His extension is so fast. There are some injury issues, and it's not just the ACL. There are multiple injury issues. The questions are short arms. That short arms is why he'll he's going to be on that interior, but I mean, we knew that. That's okay. That's not really a negative, in my opinion. Some people are going to say length is going to be an issue, and subpar feet. But I think you got a stud. I really do. I think you got a day one starter if he's healthy. I think you got a guy who's going to go in that interior offense line, whether it's center or guard, whatever you want to play him. He's going to help you in the run game. He's going to be a good pass blocker. Will he struggle versus NFL speed early? Maybe. We'll see. I'm not sure. But overall, really, really good player who I think you got a stud in the second round who I don't think's there if the injury's not an issue. If he does not tear his ACL versus Florida in the SEC championship, I think he's a back in the first round type of talent. I really do. I think that's where he ends up going. So you got to steal there because of an injury. So a really good pick there. And then you go to the other side of the ball, defensive tackle Milton Williams, and just a smaller guy from a small school, right? Length and mass is going to be the biggest issue. Just 6'3", 284 pounds. 284 pounds is the part that you wonder about, mainly because you gotta think he needs to bulk up a little bit. But we'll see. This is not a guy who was on my radar, I'll be honest. Obviously, small school guy out of Louisiana Tech, but he is quick and powerful. He is strong. For as small as he is, he's still strong. Has good eyes in the backfield. Always knows where the ball is, and he's a high effort, high motor dude. And I do think this was a position of need. You look at the Eagles as a team that has always played defense really behind their defensive line. Everything else has been built on having a defensive line that can get after it, right? And I don't want to offend anybody, but Fletcher Cox was not the disruptor that he was a couple years ago. He certainly wasn't in 2020. I think he took a step back, and we'll see. Maybe there's some injury issues there. Maybe there's some things I'm not aware of that caused that, and maybe he takes a step forward again this in 2021 season. Excuse me. We'll see. I don't know. But beyond that, I do think they needed help. I certainly do think they needed help at the defensive tackle position. Hopefully, this is a guy who can come in and help them out. I'm not sure. Again, this is a guy who I try to have a lot of knowledge about a lot of these guys. I struggle to find good film to where I could really study it. So a lot of this is based on a lot of research that I did, and I don't know how to feel about him. I'll be honest. We'll see how it works out. I'm gonna wait to have any judgment. I'm not gonna have a knee-jerk reaction here, and I'll just be honest with everybody watching. Like I try to be as knowledgeable as I can about the first three rounds. I do a lot of work. I put a lot of time into these videos, and this is a guy I put a lot of time in, and I still don't have a good feeling on what he's going to be, what to expect in year one, what to expect in his career in general. I don't know. We'll see. So with that being said, hopefully a good pick. Hopefully a guy that the Eagles are going to have starting for a long time. So I'll leave it at that. Let's move on to some of my final thoughts. I'm going to do my best and worst grade, and then some of my final grades, and we'll get out of here. So for my best move, and listen, just to be totally honest, the best move is trading up for Devontae Smith. Like, that's totally fair, but I've talked about that already. So what I'm going to say is getting Kenneth Gainwell in the 5th round, and I just want to say that because I want to talk about Kenneth Gainwell, and I didn't talk about it earlier, so I want to talk about him now here. Kenneth Gainwell is a running back who I thought was the 4th best running back in this class. I really did. I thought he was CH light, and CH I know did have a lackluster season this past year, and so maybe that's not the biggest compliment in the world, but he was a guy who went in the 1st round, so there's certainly some value there, right? Like, this is a guy that at least one team thought was a 1st round pick, that at least one team thought was the top running back in this class. So I don't know. I'm not trying to defend a CEH. I'm just trying to say Kenneth Gainwell to me is a guy that I think has a lot of those same characteristics. At the very least, gonna be a hell of a running back too, and I think he could usurp Sanders. I really do. And listen, I'm not as high on Sanders as some people are, and that's a personal opinion. That's just my opinion. Take that for what it is. But I do think Kenneth Gainwell is a stud. I did think he was the 4th best running back in this class. I was shocked he was still there in the 5th round. I was shocked he got out of the day 2 range. I really was. So obviously NFL disagreed with me. We'll see how that works. Just a 5th round running back. I get it, but I think he was a stud, and I'm not ready to call it quits on my take there. I think they got a really, really good one there in the 5th round. And then for my worst move, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't have one. There's nothing that really stands out to me that's a bad move. There's nothing about their draft that I didn't really like. I thought about saying Milton Williams in the 3rd round just to have an answer, but it's like, I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair to the Eagles. I don't think that's fair to myself, because I'm gonna be honest with myself. I'm gonna be honest with you. as I said earlier, I didn't watch him. I didn't watch him pre-draft, and I couldn't find good film to watch him in preparation for this video. So you know, I watched highlights, I watched what I could find on YouTube, but it wasn't enough for me to make an honest assessment of the player. So beyond that, like, what am I supposed to say? I can't say I disliked it. I don't know. I don't know if it was a good pick. We'll see. Move on to my grades. I do break my grades down into 3 different tiers, and for players, I'm gonna give it an A. Yeah, I think I love Devontae Smith, and they did a great job grabbing him. I love Landon Dickinson. I love Kenneth Gainwell. Now, I really like a Marlon Tupat. I'm not gonna lie, I can't say his last name, but their 6th round defensive tackle at USC. I liked him. I did. I thought he would be. I thought he was a 5th rounder. That was my grade on him. Actually, just going back and looking at it, I had a 5th round grade, but they got him in the 6th round, early 6th. So I was right in that range, I feel like. And I think, you know, a player that could be a sneaky, you know, developmental piece that could start later on. I really believe there's an opportunity there. So overall, I do like their draft. I really do. Draft value, I'm giving it a B+. I mean, they did a great job trading up and grabbing Devontae Smith, understanding value, understanding the board, and going and getting your guy. And then, of course, for all Eagles fans, have to love the fact that they were able to fuck over the Giants by trading ahead of them and getting their guy. You know, that's just a little salt on the wound for all the Giants fans out there, Giants team in general, really. So you know, you gotta love that if you're an Eagles fan. Yeah, I think they did a great job. I think they understood the value of Landon Dickinson in the 2nd round. They got great value on a Kenneth Gainwell. I mentioned their D tackle at a USC in the 6th. They did a great job getting good value for good players. I really do. And the reason it's not A, yeah, I do have questions about Milton Williams in the 3rd round. I don't know if that was good value. Hey, we'll see. I don't know what the rest of the NFL was thinking on that. He certainly wasn't on my radar. Also, their 4th round cornerback out of Texas Tech. Not a guy that I thought was going to go 4th round. But again, so little mini things that I could nitpick here as far as like draft value. Nothing that I hated, nothing that I'm really gonna, like, you know, sink my teeth into and say, oh, that was terrible. But those little things are why I didn't give it an A. So that's why it's there. And then needs, B+. I'm giving it a B+ for needs, just because I do think they had a lot of needs, and I don't think they answered every single question about this roster. And I honestly, I came into this video, and one of my biggest things, and I thought about making it a theme, and I ended up not doing it, but I'm going to bring it up now because I do have questions. I'd love to hear if you want to, you know, leave a comment down below for Eagles fans. Was this a rebuild draft or was this a reload draft? I don't know. And granted, obviously the Eagles weren't good last year, but they did have a lot of injuries and things. Are they close enough to being good now? Assuming a Jalen Hurts is the guy, right? Like, if we can assume, okay, they believe in a Jalen Hurts, this is a reload around Jalen Hurts. I love, by the way, the fact that they were able to get some pieces to actually see, okay, we're going to find out. Is he the dude or isn't he? Okay, we don't know. 2nd round pick, certainly some things to like in his first year of starting and playing a little bit. Also some things he needs to work on. I'll certainly say that as well. We'll see. I don't know. I think obviously it remains to be seen. I don't think there's going to be a final answer right now. Either way, whether this is reload, whether this is rebuild, they got some good pieces for the future. They really do. But all right, guys, that is all I have on the Philadelphia Eagles. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please consider hitting that like button, helping out the algorithm there for me. And then if you enjoy this kind of content, hit the subscribe button. I do draft profiles pre-draft. I do my draft breakdown on every single team. I talk a lot of different stuff. I do film study. I do a lot of different other things. You can check on my channel, and I'm kind of growing lately. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty close to 1,000 subs. Like, I'm closer than I thought I was gonna be at this point. I'll be honest. I'm ahead of schedule. So if you don't mind hitting that subscribe button, following the journey with me, very, very much appreciated if you do. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Peace.